we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Shruki's. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Lancaster Connects. I'm Ben McClure. Oh my gosh, that intro. I love the intro. I know I talked about the intro last time. The new intro, it's a little bit longer than the last one, and there's some cool guests in there saying some cool things. Of course, we've got some animals in the intro. I mean, everybody loves animals. I think the ratings and the views of Lancaster Connects goes up anytime we have furry animals on the show. No furry animals today, but we do have 2 fantastic guests. We'll get to them in just a moment. There was already a comment during the intro from Christopher. Let's go. Need those Bret Michaels tickets. Yes, we will give away the Bret Michaels tickets. We will do that towards the end of the show after our guest time. For those who don't know, we had our special 100th episode of Lancaster Connects a few weeks ago. I think this is episode 105. It was episode 100 with our special 100th episode. We had celebrity guest Bret Michaels on. If you haven't seen that episode or that interview, it was awesome. Bret was an incredible gentleman. Gave us more than half an hour of his time, which he didn't have to do. Talked about his Central PA roots. Talked about how he honors veterans and hometown heroes with concert tickets and bringing them on stage and giving them the recognition they deserve. It was an awesome interview. We're gracious that he gave us his time. You can check out that episode on our website, lancasterconnects.com/episodes. At the top of the page, you'll see the link there in the upper left for episodes. Definitely check that out. You can check out all of the episodes, all the past 104 episodes that we've had at Lancaster Connects. We love to highlight stories of people in Lancaster County, whether that's a small business, a unique business like the one we have on today, nonprofits, charitable organizations. We love to share stories of people doing great things in Lancaster County, helping the community and that sort of thing. So definitely check out the Bret Michaels episode and all of our episodes. You can also listen. This is a video podcast that's live every Monday. And it's of course recorded, but you can also listen. Right there on the screen is the podcast player. So anywhere you find your podcasts, whether that's Apple or Spotify or any of those podcast players, pull up Lancaster Connects, and you can listen to us in the car or whatnot. Of course, some of the shenanigans happen visually, and as you see, normally I'm in my home today. I had some kid challenges with moving kids around this afternoon, so I couldn't be at the store. I had to be here at home. But typically we broadcast live from Gardner's Mattress and More. It's the business that I co-own with my partner Jeff. Jeff is at the Las Vegas Furniture Market today, checking out some very, very cool things, and seeing what the latest and greatest is in the mattress industry. Because at Gardner's, we like to stay on top of everything that's great. Have the latest and greatest products. Of course, that would be a benefit to our customers, and kind of keep our finger on the pulse of the industry. Of course, you can watch this show on YouTube, both Gardner's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects YouTube pages, and on Facebook as well. A lot of people tune in from Facebook. Love to hear your comments during the show. We've already gotten some. People are talking about the Bret Michaels tickets. We've had a lot of people enter the contest. And of course, people that have entered, we're going to give away 2 sets of tickets at the end of the show to heroes, hometown heroes, that Bret Michaels describes or defines as EMS, fire, police, hospital workers, that those sorts of people. There we go. LancasterConnects.com/contest. You can get all the contest details. And of course, you can enter. We'll also give away 2 sets of tickets to veterans today. Those are picked at random. So 4 sets of tickets today given away at random. Producer Chris will spin the prize wheel, and we will pick 4 winners. The other contest that's going on top of just the normal ticket giveaway is a VIP experience for both a hometown hero and a veteran. The VIP experience includes a meet and greet with Bret Michaels at his concert, his hometown concert, which is August 26th at the Hollywood Casino at the Penn National Racecourse in Grantville, PA, just down the road from us. Everybody that's entered so far is in the VIP contest, but the way we're going to give the VIP tickets away, one for veterans, one for hometown heroes, is the photos with the most likes, the most votes. You saw it on the screen there, those little heart shapes. So we encourage everybody who has entered to share the contest, share it on your social media channels, tell your friends and family to vote for your photo. It's real easy to do right below your picture that you post. There's the links there. You click on that, it opens right up. You say what you want to say to your friends and family and have them vote. I looked this morning and there was a photo on there with 600 some votes. So they are definitely in the lead for whatever veteran or hero they were. I don't remember which one they were, but there's no limit to how many times you can share these posts. You can share it daily if you'd like. People can, there you go, Cheryl, 679 likes on her photo. So if you want to beat Cheryl, you got to share your post. You got to get it out there. Ask people to vote for you. If you're a voter, you can vote for a photo once per day, once per 24 hours. So you can vote every day if you'd like. Chris, that's great. I'd love it. Love to see you win. But we have no control over it. You do. You can get that shared out there, ask people to vote. And so we're giving away 4 tickets today to random prize drawing, and then another 4 tickets next week, the 7th of August. And then the VIP voting, the voting for that is going to end the 14th. So that's when we'll announce who the winners are. And again, it's just simply there's Chris's entry there. Simply the one with the most votes. Oh, that he's got 410. Look at that. That's awesome. Great job. I love it. Bugging the crap out of people to vote. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I love it. I love it. Well, again, thanks to everybody who's entered so far. And again, the contest isn't over. You can go to lancasterconnects.com/contest and enter. There's no obligation to enter. Just name an email and nominate your veteran or hero. If you're a veteran or hero, you can do that. You can nominate yourself. You can nominate a friend or family member. So pretty simple to do. We'd love to send everybody to the Bret Michaels concert. And we actually only thought we were going to send 2 people. We initially had 2 sets of tickets to Bret's concert, and he ended up giving us 20 sets. So that's why we're running the contest the way we're running it. All right. Enough of that. We've got some great guests waiting backstage, and I know they're anxious to get on the camera here. So let's bring them on the show. Today, we've got Chef Oliver from Homage, and we'll get into what Homage is. And there's that smile. We love the smile. I think that's a trademark, right, Oliver? And we've got Beverley Doody from SCORE.
Hi.
Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So this is the 3rd such show that we've had where we've had a small business on that has been mentored and guided through the business opening and development and everything that a small business has to go through to be open. I've been through some of the SCORE programs, and I've been through what a lot of these guests have been through to get a business open. And Beverley represents SCORE. She's a SCORE mentor and has been a SCORE mentor to Chef Oliver here. So we'll talk to Beverley about some of what she's helped Oliver with from a SCORE standpoint. So again, thank you both to being on. This is going to be a great show. The only thing I regret with the show is not having, Oliver, some of your food here for me to try. We didn't think that through.
Well, you'll definitely have an opportunity in the future.
Yeah. So enough of me talking. Oliver, I'd love to hear a little bit about you, your story of getting into being a chef, your inspiration for the food that you make, and starting your own business called Homage. Go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I've been in the industry for about 30 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I graduated high school 30 years ago, go McCaskey.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, and then entered the field of culinary arts.
Okay.
Um, I've worked in different facets of the industry, from fine dining to retirement homes to, and as just recently, the Boys and Girls Club of Lancaster.
Oh wow.
And actually, Friday will actually be my last day of a job. Um, so I'll be concentrating on my business 100%. So 30 years in the business, 6 years as a business owner. So
Yep.
I started my business back in 2017. Um, it was under, it wasn't Homage then. It was actually Culinary Services by Chef Oliver.
Okay.
Uh, Homage kind of took place in 20, 2020, when I decided to change my business format and really start concentrating. See, I'm a historian at heart. Also, I'm a foodie, and also I love geography. So I was able to combine three of those into my
Okay.
business. So combining history, the love of food, and then also geography. So homage is basically what I do. I follow the journey of our enslaved ancestors from West
Okay.
Africa via the transatlantic slave trade when they were brought to the Americas. So the American South, the Caribbean, Central South America. Um, yeah, so I tell that story through food. Um, a lot of people sometimes don't know or realize when you speak of the West African diaspora, um, not only have you been eating it your whole life, but you just don't realize it, just kind of through lack of education. Um,
Right.
but you've been eating it through your whole life. So you've been eating Spanish food, you've been eating Haitian food, Jamaican food, Southern food. You're eating the West African diaspora.
Okay.
Because those are the foods that were, um, when our ancestors came over, they were making. And they had to interpret, different ingredients, but whatever, but it was still made in that same style. So it's a beautiful story, but it's to really highlight them. Obviously, they weren't given credit for it, recognition, and didn't get a paycheck for it. So what I do through homage is just really honoring them and putting the spotlight on them and giving the recognition that they deserve.
So Homage, I know a little bit, but our guests, our listeners don't. What is Homage? Are you a food truck? Do you have a
Oh,
uh,
okay, yeah. So my business actually has four different revenue streams.
okay,
It's catering.
okay,
I also do food retail, and what I mean by that, I carry products in a couple of different markets. Lemon Street Market in
okay,
Lancaster City is one of them. I also do services for Clark Services over at the restaurant store complex.
yeah,
They have a building where it's like a little cafe for their team members. So it's not a public thing; it's internal. But I do stuff for them. I also do stuff for Smiley's Deli, which is also in Lancaster City. And
okay,
my goal is to have many, many more retail outlets. I
right,
also have a food truck that I operate as well. Go to different events. The food truck came about in 2021, so
okay.
it's in its third year. It's going pretty well. Um, and of course, in about 2 to 3 weeks, I will be operating a food stand at Lancaster Central Market.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I saw that.
yeah,
Congratulations. That's super
yeah.
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so that will be my newest stream, and I'm very excited about that. Um, it will give me the opportunity to sell food for folks, obviously, who are familiar with me and be pretty stoked about that. And also from some folks that are not familiar with Homage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. I mean, we had Lancaster Central Market on a few months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and it was great to talk to them, the Central Market Trust folks. And anytime we ask our guests like what one of their favorite things to do in Lancaster, probably half of them, or what's their favorite like restaurant or favorite thing to do, they almost always mention Central Market. So being able to put yourself in the middle of that experience is well huge for you. It's going to be great for the patrons of the market, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of full bellies.
Yeah. I can't wait because there's not a lot of West African food per se
Yeah,
um, being served in this area. So
yeah, that's awesome. So tell us, can you dig a little bit into the food itself? Like what makes the food you make special? And you were talking about how it really is kind of the originator of some of the other food that we know and don't know that it came from Western Africa. Can you dig into a little bit of the food, like what makes it
yeah,
special?
yeah, like we said, like the West African cuisine is the foundation for all those other cuisines that I spoke about. Um, and I'll give you some examples. So we can even talk about something simple as there's a rice in West Africa called jollof rice. It's a tomato based rice, um, heavily seasoned, flavored. But then when you go down to the American South in Carolina, let's say in the Carolinas, you have a rice called red rice. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Carolina cooking.
Not much.
And or if you go even further south in the state of Louisiana, there's another dish called jambalaya. I'm sure you're
Yep.
probably a little familiar with that one.
Heard of jambalaya.
Um, yeah, so if you put those three dishes in front of you without me telling you this information, you will probably think they're the same dishes that, like, why is he giving me three dishes of jambalaya?
Yeah.
um, so that's just kind of one example. So not only is it back to our ancestors and being the foundation of that, but there's a lot of similarities to these other cuisines because that was done purposely for that. I could go to another example as beignets. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with beignets, the
Yep.
deep fried yeast donut. There's a similar dish in West Africa. It's called, now, depending on what West African country you come from, because they're all called by different names. So I come
Mhm.
from the country of Liberia. That's where I was born, which is in West Africa.
Okay.
And there we call it kala. So it's and it's round, but it's deep fried yeast. Everything we don't typically do it with powdered sugar as they have done in Louisiana, but it's still the same concept. If you go in other parts of West Africa, they call it puff puff. So there's a lot of linkage through these different foods,
Okay.
and there's a reason for that. And so if you dig deep enough, then you understand why. If you understand the slave trade,
Gotcha.
I hope
Gotcha.
that answers some of your questions.
Oh, it does. It does. And again, I wish I had some of this food to taste. I'll have to visit you at market.
Yeah, visit me in market. Yeah, by mid, I'm looking at a date of August 15th. So
That, that's
yeah,
great. Congrats to you. Wish you much success there. What you mentioned 2020 is when you transitioned from being I think a personal chef or your Chef Oliver business to founding Homage. Why did you do that? What was the goal behind
uh,
that, or the drive
uh,
behind that?
yeah. So actually, it actually goes back to 2019. In 2019, I became a Baldwin Fellow. So it was a fellowship that I got for a grant of $5,000. That
Oh,
was distributed through the Lancaster Community Foundation. Every 2 years, they ask a group of people, you fill out an application, um, and you tell them what your project is. Um, so actually, my project was basically going back to West Africa, but not only in a physical sense, but also in a spiritual, mental sense. And
Mhm.
that was about basically food, and also going through other types of the diaspora, so Southern United States that I went to. Unfortunately, we were the COVID class,
Mhm.
because we all know what happened in 2020. So unfortunately, West Africa never happened as far as going
Oh,
back to visit my home country. Um, but I did visit some other places like Charleston and um, New Orleans and places like that.
mhm.
So with that fellowship, it really made me kind of look at what I was doing with my business food wise. Because before, prior to that, I would, I'm just chef, I'm culinary trained, and I was just, making food that I like to cook, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But that really made me look at and focus more on my ancestry, knowing that my parents are not going to be around forever,
Sure.
and really tapping into the food of the African diaspora. So that kind of just really that if it wasn't for that fellowship, who knows? But that's what made me look at my business and kind of turn things around and pivot and really start focusing on that. So it was a very exciting time. Um,
That's cool.
um, yeah.
Y- You just mentioned your parents. Do they live in Lancaster?
Um, my dad, they both live in Lancaster. My dad lives over in Manor Township, and my mother's in Lancaster City.
That's
And
cool.
my
Now,
dad is, my father is from Guinea,
okay.
which is a neighboring West African country, and my mother's from Liberia, and me and my brothers were born in Liberia.
And who taught you to cook, or are you self-taught?
I learned some. My mom was the cook in the family, and
Yep.
I did learn some stuff. She cooks, you know, some dishes from West Africa, but it wasn't like a lot of different dishes.
Yeah.
But with me, at a very early age, I started working in restaurants, so
Okay.
the food bug caught me. So
And,
after high
and
school, I ended up going to culinary school, and the rest is history.
that's cool. And what does mom think of your food?
She loves it, and so does my dad.
That's,
Every once in a while, they'll come out to my food truck, and yeah. Sometimes my dad be like, "You made this?"
that's
Like, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So I want to bring Beverly in here a little bit. So starting Homage, obviously, anybody starting a business, it's not an easy thing, not at all.
No.
And SCORE is an unbelievable resource of free information, mentorship, which Beverly's a mentor. SCORE is just an unbelievable resource. When Jeff and I purchased Gardner's Mattress and More from the previous owner 13 years ago, we used a SCORE mentor and went through a 5-class program, a free program that SCORE put out there. And I didn't know anything about SCORE at all. I never heard about it. Of course, to that point, didn't have the need to know. But you start thinking about a business and look at everything that needs to happen financially, organizationally, legally. I mean, everything. So the fact that SCORE exists, I mean, SCORE is a national organization of retired executives. And I think we have one of the very best chapters right here in Lancaster County. So, Oliver, how did you get hooked up with SCORE? And then we'll bring Beverly in and talk about some of the mentorship related to that.
I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with assets.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so
Great program.
I linked up with assets pretty much after I started my business, probably like about 4 to 5 months afterwards, and I entered some of their programs. They have a
Yes.
lending program and a leadership program. About either people who are thinking about starting a business, or people who are just like new becoming business owners. So
Yep.
it was actually through assets that I got familiar
Okay.
with SCORE. That was back in 2017. Um, I didn't really connect with SCORE until I got my food truck, which was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I linked up with Beverly, who I met actually not from Assets, but actually when I was with the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
Yeah, the chief operating officer decided to bring Beverly in and do and Beverly, what was that called? The
Well, that
program?
was the disc assessments, the training I did with everybody, new
Yeah,
manager
the disc.
assimilation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's how I met Beverly initially. And then when I want to say it was probably a year later is when, like I said, I went to school looking for some help, some guidance,
Yeah.
and guess who was one of the available people? Happened to be Beverly. So it was yeah, it was a small world, per se, let's say.
Well, that's awesome. Beverly, let's talk to you for a little bit. Tell us about your mentor-mentee relationship with Chef Oliver.
Yeah, sure. Well, as Chef said, we met a few years ago at the Boys and Girls Club. And then originally, Chef was working with one of our very long serving mentors, Henry Michael, who was a great asset to SCORE, who sadly passed away last year. I started to co mentor with him. And we would meet probably every other week for a while with Chef, starting working on the business plan, thinking about permitting. You know, of course, when you're working with food, you've got to be very careful about all the rules and regulations. Helping on the financial side, you know, how am I making any money? Because we want to have a passion to deliver business, but we need to live too. So I initially was working with him, and say Henry sadly passed away. And now I partner, co-mentor with another really great SCORE mentor called Tom Roche. He's the numbers guy. And we meet at least monthly now as we help Chef think through lots of aspects of his business. Chef, of course, is absolutely beyond compare when it comes to the food, but you wouldn't expect him to be an accountant, a
Right.
marketeer, knowing how to use AI, you know, setting up a legal practice or whatever it might be. So that's where the mentors of SCORE come in to help guide in those areas so that Chef can really focus on what he does best, which of course is the wonderful range of different foods he does. And as we were chatting before the start of the program, it's the guy with the biggest smile in Lancaster as well, who has so much support from the people of Lancaster in his latest venture. So it's exciting. I'm learning from him, learning much more about the West African diaspora as well. But we partner and we're trying to help him, you know, make the most out of this business so that, you know, all those areas that he maybe doesn't have expertise in, we can help and guide him with.
Well, and that's so true with businesses all across the board. You're good at what you're good at, and that's why you get started. You have a passion for, in this case, making excellent food, selling mattresses, or whatever it is that you're good at. And you say, I can do this. I'll start a business, and then it's like, wait a minute, I have to advertise. I have to market my business. I have to be a graphic designer. I have to be on Facebook. I have to do be an accountant, like you said, Beverly, and you just easily get overwhelmed with everything else that you can't be the business you want to be without having all the other stuff in place. So to have an organization and a mentor like yourself, Beverly, and an organization like SCORE that can come behind the business owner and help in that way is just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable resource for businesses, and like I said, I can speak from experience. That's awesome.
And I wish we had it in the UK. We don't have anything like this in the UK, and I'm floored by how there's 10,000 plus volunteers across the country helping people get up and running with their businesses. So it's a great honor to be involved with Chef. We connect really well, but I think it's fantastic the work that all these volunteers are putting into helping grow our small business communities.
So that picture that's on the screen, of course, that's the two of you there. Is that going to be your new market stand, Chef?
That was actually taken in February. And I was thinking about the wonderful Kathleen Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and actually that was highlighting, since it was the month of February, it was highlighting black businesses.
Okay. I got
Yep,
you. I got you.
yep.
Is is that Central Market though in the background?
That is Central Market.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Which
Yes,
you'll be
I
part
stole
of.
some ginger from the produce stand. I did give it back, but I used it for the picture.
That's awesome. So Beverly, working with Chef Oliver, what are some of your proudest moments working with him? What were you able to help him accomplish?
There are so many, really. Firstly, he's got a very infectious personality, and you
Okay.
really feel, his passion about behind what he's doing, and that's critical for any business. That he's really so passionate about telling the story, enlightening people, and so on. So lots of really great memories of working with him. One that particularly sticks out, and it's to your point earlier, was when he did some catering for our chapter at our recent social event.
Okay.
And we got to taste some of the food. So I'm probably going to get this wrong, chef, but we had a meatballs with a peanut sauce, which was to die for. People kept going back and getting more and more. Didn't do much for our waistlines, but it did a lot to satisfy our palates. The wonderful plantains, which are
Okay.
like bananas for me. But it was just the excitement of watching people who maybe didn't know chef's cuisine actually getting the chance to try it and taste it and go back for more and really, really enjoy it. So lots of highlights, but that was one in particular that we could share with the whole chapter, which got rave reviews. I think it's still going down in the annals of SCORE, the food that we had at the June chapter social. So he's
Okay.
made a name for himself with us too.
That's
Thank
see
you,
that
thank you.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Beverly, do you have a favorite dish that Chef Oliver makes?
Well, I remember the chicken dish you did as well, chef.
Mm,
And I was able to bring some home for my husband, who also mightily enjoyed his dinner that night as well. So that was a special spicy chicken that was
mm,
I'd never tried it before. Really,
okay.
really good, really good. Thoroughly recommend it.
That's awesome. Is that it on the screen there, Chef?
No, that's not it. But that's another. That's some jerk chicken right there.
Okay, so that
Oh,
that's
well, actually, it was jerk, but it was actually wings. Yeah,
uh,
for the social that she's speaking of, and
Yeah.
Beverly's speaking of. Yeah.
see, that's a great example going back to what you were saying, Chef, about this cuisine originating in Western Africa. I like jerk chicken. I've been to Jamaica. I've had jerk chicken there, and it was awesome. And I thought that was maybe a dish indigenous to that country. But you're saying the roots are in Western Africa,
Yeah, the roots are in Western Africa.
jerk,
Yeah, for
jerk
sure.
chicken. That's awesome. Now, do you have a favorite dish that you make? Do you have something that you think is just like off the charts or that you like to make for yourself?
I tell you, my favorite dish, and it's something my mom and I make it now, but growing up, my mom used to make, and it's called palm butter, and that's a West African, specifically Liberian dish. And it's in the West Africa, we have a lot of palm trees where the palm nuts that we get, and we normally soak those palm nuts and we actually boil it in water, and then after boiling in water, we extract the palm from that, the palm liquid per se, and then
Mm,
we cook it down. And you can make that whatever. It can be different various meats, vegetables, seafood, and it's typically served with rice. But it's just a flavor you can't really compare it to anything else. So if you would ever have it, it's not
mhm.
something you could say, oh, it tastes like this or it tastes like that. It's just a unique flavor on its own. Yeah, but yeah, palm butter,
Well, I'm
and
glad
which
you
which 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 I'll be featuring from time to time at the market, so you will have an opportunity to taste that as well.
well, I'm glad you said that. So, like the stuff offered at market, is it going to be? It's not a
So
set
the
menu.
cuis-
It's
yeah,
going to change.
so actually the cuisine that I'll be out offering at the market be specifically West African, and I'll throw a little Caribbean in there, but especially West African and some Caribbean. Yeah.
And the
So
recipes of what you make, is it all like trial and error things you put together that you have to work at to get it just right?
it's just follow and listen to the ancestors.
That's awesome. I like that.
They tell me when to stop with the seasoning.
Yep, yep, yep. So you have your catering business. How many people do you cater for, or can you cater for?
Oh, far as how much? I could cater up typically up to 200, 250. I think my largest event that I've done was about 220, and that was a wedding.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
And your food truck, do you have some events coming up that anybody listening can find you?
Uh, Trying to see. Nothing that I do have stuff events, but nothing that I can remember
Okay, yeah,
right now. Unfortunately, with the market starting,
yeah. That's your
there's
big focus right now.
the
Yeah.
food truck's gonna be kind of put on hold a little bit, or
Okay.
I'm gonna also be doing some things that's not on market dates.
Yep.
I'm still trying to look at personnel, and with the market and food trucks, kind of hard to get in two places. And nobody really wants to take on that food truck. That's a big liability.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
I've we know other people that have had trucks, and I've heard stories of trucks breaking down, and obviously
yeah.
if
Unfortunately, I have a trailer, so it won't break down, but there's always other issues.
yep, yep. Well, Kathleen just popped in, and she said she says hello to everybody, and so she's looking forward to seeing you at
Hello,
market.
Kathleen.
And
Hey, Kathleen.
she mentioned you've catered the Cultivate Lancaster events, and that it's been marvelous. So you've got
Yes.
many people singing your praises.
Awesome.
And so, where do you go from here, Chef? You've got the market opening. Are there any plans that
Yeah.
you?
Well, future plans. Personally, for me, I would like to step out of um the roles that I'm not in front. So
Right.
basically, I would like people operating the
Yeah.
food truck and all the different aspects of the business, where I can step back and be more of a supervisor mode.
Right.
Far as the market, I really like the market stand appeal. I never really wanted to do a restaurant, at least
Yep.
not a full service restaurant.
Mhm.
So my goal is, after knocking Lancaster Central Market out, I really like to venture into other markets, whether that's
Okay.
looking at Harrisburg or Hershey or
Yep.
York, Reading, and Reading Terminal, which is a big one. But
Yeah.
that's my goal, is to be into various different markets, and just really telling that story and introducing people to West African cuisine, and the diaspora of it. So
That's
that's my
awesome.
goal.
Well, I mean, the fact that you're going to be in the oldest market in the world, or at least
Yes,
in the United States, that's a great first step to getting towards, you mentioned Reading Market. That's awesome. And
yes.
and how about from a score standpoint, this mentorship, the fact that you've got your business Homage up and running, you're going to be in Lancaster Central Market, but the mentorship doesn't end, right?
Oh, it never ends. It never ends. Um, and like Beverly said earlier, I got into this because you love what you do. I
Yep.
love to cook. Um, I'm not I'm not a numbers person, but but the whole premise of running a business is to make money, right? You don't go
Yep.
into business to lose money or to be afloat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other aspects that I'm very appreciative of school, and
That's
I'll
awesome.
definitely keep working with them. So,
With the food he does, he can't keep us away either. We have a vested interest in continuing to work with Chef, and also as he starts to scale his business, because
Yeah.
there's one thing starting a business and starting to build it, and then there's going to be employing some people,
Mhm.
scaling it up, investments in equipment and so on. where to target, where he wants to, sell his food and so on. So you're not going to get rid of us, chef, for a long time yet, because we've tasted your food. So we have a vested interest in keeping with you. That's for sure.
Awesome. Good.
That's
I'll keep those waistline going.
that's great. Well, this has been a great conversation. I love hearing about your story, Chef, and what you're doing with Homage. Thank you, Beverly, for helping Chef bring his cuisine to more and more people in Lancaster. So, uh, is there anything else you'd like to share, Chef or Beverly, for our listeners?
I would just, Chef, you
Go
go
ahead, Beverly.
first, please. No, you go first.
Okay. Once again, thank you for the opportunity
Yeah.
to be on the show, and for folks who are not familiar with me or my business, obviously I do appreciate that. And like I said, I'm just excited. I'm so excited about this new venture. I'm excited about growing other aspects of my business. But always, first and foremost, I'm excited about um, bringing our ancestors to the forefront
Yep.
and giving
Yep.
them the credit and recognition that they always deserve. But also making folks aware of the linkage between
Hmm.
all these different cuisines and how West African cuisine was so important. And I'm just going to give a little tidbit because, like I said, I am a history person at heart too. I always
Yep.
loved history.
Please.
Once upon a time, I wanted to be a history teacher.
Okay.
Um, but
Well, you're
in
telling
the
history
early,
through food.
Yes.
yeah. So in the early beginnings of this country, even before it was a country, when it was still the colonies, down in Carolinas,
Hmm.
um, the Europeans wanted to start rice production, but they didn't have any knowledge of that. The Native Americans didn't have any knowledge of that.
Mm.
The West African people been cultivating rice for centuries and centuries. So the specifically went to West Africa so they can cultivate um, the rice plantations in the Carolinas. Within 2 to 3 years, 8 out of the first millionaires were from South Carolina due to that rice plantation.
Okay.
Um, so so just a little nugget there, and also when you eat rice, really think of our enslaved ancestors
Mm.
because they're the one that brought it in. They're the one that made rice what
Wow.
it is.
See, that's a story I did not know, and it's really cool that you can tell that story through food and
Yeah.
through your business, and of course through market going forward. That's awesome. I mean, we could. I'm sure you could talk for hours to us about food and about the history. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of time, but I do want to get into our connection cocktail questions. A few questions to get to know the two of you a little bit better. Um, and so, with the theme of the show being food, um, I'll ask you both the same question. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? It's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Well, I can think of one,
Okay.
which because I think food for me has memories associated with it as well. It tells its own story, and
Mhm.
that would be my mum's roast beef and Yorkshire pudding that she would cook on a Sunday with the family sitting around the table, and that was our real great family time. And I can still smell that dinner now. I can smell and
Okay.
touch and feel it. So that would be mine.
And is that as much to do with the family time as it is the dish? You just kind of associate.
Yes, it's just the whole thing. It's the
Yeah.
family around the table with each other in the days before we had all these devices to
Hmm.
distract us, and
Distracted.
just sitting down there sharing a meal. And my mum was a fantastic cook, so yeah, that's what I would go for.
That's great. Chef, do you
Yeah,
have
but
one?
and you can't disconnect that, right? Because food and memory it always goes together,
Yep.
right? It's not one without the other. It's like, oh, that dish your grandma made and how it made you feel, how it made you. So,
Yep.
for me, I'm a big seafood person. So I don't know if I can necessarily say. Well, I guess I can say it. Once again, we're gonna go back to palm butter. Palm butter with different assortments of seafood, fish, and
Okay.
of course over rice, because rice is us. Rice is was the initial wealth of this country, and I'm West African. Rice.
All right.
I can eat
All right.
rice every day.
Well, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. So, chef, if you weren't a chef, do you have a dream job? I mean, you mentioned being a teacher, history teacher. If you weren't,
Yeah. If I wasn't a chef, like I said, history, geography. When I was 10 years old, my parents got us a set of encyclopedias. Y'all remember that encyclopedia? Got a set of encyclopedias, and I read them through all A through Z, and it was geography and history that really caught my eye.
yeah.
And so yeah, so if it wasn't for cooking, then yeah, I'll be a history teacher. I'll be in education somehow.
Well, and that's cool, and I love how you can do that through food. That's
Yes.
you're kind of combining those loves there. And Beverly, I guess same question to you. I don't know a whole lot about your back history because we're coming together as you're a retired executive, right? But
I'm
did you
still,
have?
still working, actually. I have my own business too. So
Oh, okay.
I've been through some of the pain that Chef has been through. But for
Yeah.
me, it would be a dancer. I love ballroom dancing, all sorts
Okay.
of dancing. When I was living in England, I would go every Monday, every Friday, and just dance the night away. If you want to get your house cleaned, put on Tom Jones. It's dusted in a moment. So that's my passion. Yeah, love to dance.
I love it. I love it.
Nice, nice.
That's
The
great.
song "Tiny Dancer" comes to mind when you were saying that.
There you go. There you go.
Well, Beverly, Chef Oliver, this has been great, great conversation. We could probably talk food, like I said, for more than the time we've got, but we do have to wrap up. Chef, I wish you all the luck in the world with your new venture here at Central Market. I'll be bringing the family by at some point. We'll get to experience.
Awesome.
The cuisine Homage has to offer. Actually, I do have a question. Where's the best way that we could follow you? Is it on Facebook? Should we just,
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
that's where you like post where you are, like your food truck and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all my different events and whatnot. And of course, it's going to be flooded with when Central Market comes. So and also with Central Market, I'll be planning to be posting like different menus and dishes and what's going to be. So all that stuff's going to be posted on there. And of course, I'll throw a little education piece in there too. So
See that's great. That's great. Well, like I said, this has been fantastic. Thank you to both of you for being on, and I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Yep.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Man, I mean, we at Lancaster Connects, like I mentioned before, we highlight great people doing great things in Lancaster. Sometimes it's a nonprofit or charitable organization, sometimes it's a small business. Sometimes, I mean, we just talked to Chef Oliver. He's got a cool business, but he's doing something really, really unique. Telling stories, telling the history of the country and of the food of this country through his business. I just think that's so cool. I haven't personally eaten his food, but I can't wait. I've seen the Facebook page and, like you mentioned, Instagram, all kinds of pictures of what he's made. And of course, hearing people, both Kathleen in the comments and Beverly, talk about Chef Oliver's food. I can't wait to try it. So I hope you all do the same. Visit him at Central Market, Homage. And of course, if you see him out with a food truck, give him your business. He's definitely earned it. I know some of you are hanging on, waiting for our ticket spin, our ticket giveaway for the Bret Michaels concert, the Party Gras concert coming up here August 26th. We're less than a month away. That's Party Gras at the Hollywood Casino at the Penn National Race Track in Grantville. We've got 4 sets of tickets to give away today, 4 more tomorrow, and then we've got our VIP package. You can get all the details at lancasterconnects.com/contest. There's buttons there if you want to nominate a veteran or a hometown hero. You can do that. Super easy to do. Name and email, and you're nominating somebody, whether that's yourself or a friend or family member. You're just posting a picture, and that gets you into our weekly giveaway. So like I said, we're giving 4 tickets away today, 4 tickets away next week. And the VIP package for a hero or for a veteran goes to whoever has the most votes. So to do that, you just share on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I guess that's the 3 main ways through social media, and ask your friends and family to help you win, to vote. As you can see, some people have 400, 600 plus votes. They're getting out there and asking their friends and family to vote for their picture. It's at this point, the VIP packages are simply a popularity contest. Whoever has the most votes is going to win. So we will, that contest ends the morning of the 14th of August. So that's when we'll announce those winners. So I guess we will do our veteran spins first. Chris, you got those up there? We've had a lot of veterans who have entered. Thank you to everybody. We'll do our first spin here. Go ahead. So this is 2 tickets to the Party Gras concert on August 26th. 2 tickets. And that will be... I know Christopher was watching. There was like right on his name, and it went like one more tick more. Colin Bridges. All right. So sorry, Christopher, but Colin got that spin there. And so he's our first 2-ticket winner, and we'll spin it again there. Gosh, the wheel is unforgiving. It's like The Price is Right when that thing would come around, when you'd watch it like 11 a.m. in the morning when you were a kid, and that thing came around the $1, and then it just went one more tick and you got a nickel. There we go. Adam Lanier, your other veteran ticket winner. Thank you so much. We'll be reaching out, collecting a little bit of information that we can pass along to the ticket folks so they can get you your tickets. All right, now our hometown heroes. We've got less hometown heroes. So let's give that a spin. 2 sets of tickets here. So the first ticket winner will be, looks like Caitlin Myers, if the wheel stops. There we go. So Caitlin Myers is our first winner there. And we will spin it again for one more hometown hero winner to the Bret Michaels Party Gras concert next month. Looks like we got Rob V. So thank you, Rob. We will reach out, like I said, to all 4 of today's winners. We'll reach out via email and collect some information and pass that information to the ticket folks. If you didn't win this time, you're still in for the next wheel spin next week on the 7th. We've got some great guests lined up through the month of August. And like I said, we'll be wrapping up with the VIP. There you go. I love that. That's a great picture. So Rob, thanks for entering, and thanks. You're our winner of that set of tickets there. So again, lancasterconnects.com/contest is where you can find all the contest details and get yourself or your veteran or your hero entered. That's a wrap. Thank you to our guest, Chef Oliver from Homage. Check him out at Lancaster Central Market starting in a few weeks here. I'm assuming by Labor Day he'll be up and running at Central Market. And thank you to Beverley and all of the mentors and all of the great people at the SCORE organization. They've helped Jeff and I in the past with Gardner's Mattress and more, and they've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of business owners in Lancaster County with their businesses. The impact that they have without you even knowing who they are is just huge. So thank you to both Chef Oliver and Beverley. That's a wrap for today's show. Join us next week. Jeff and I will be together again. It's been a few weeks of vacations and whatnot. So we'll be back together again. And like I said, we'll have our last Bret Michaels ticket giveaway and then our VIP tickets the following week. So, yep, Chris, maybe next time. You were so close. The wheel doesn't lie. You're so close. Maybe next time. But again, thanks for joining throughout the show. Thanks for commenting. Thanks to everybody listening and watching. Very much appreciate you. So till the next connection.